It starts off with a face. Though it isn't really a face, it is the shape of a face, and I know this is what it is, but there is no face where there should have been a face. It is just dark, empty space. At around 3 or 4 years old, I wake up in a cold sweat. It is the first nightmare that I can actually remember, and that's when I see it. The faceless face. I see it in my dreams constantly, and every time I see it, I know it's watching me, though it has no eyes, and following very closely to me, wanting to touch me, to reach out, but it can't. Because this faceless face is just a face and nothing more. No body, nothing that it attaches itself to. I know not what it wants, but I do know that whenever the faceless face is near me, I get cold, and I want to cry, but I can't for some reason. I want to scream, but it silences me because my subconscious allows it to do so. I'm now scared to go to sleep. I believe it to be a man, though it gives no sign of any gender, even if it has one. Women aren't scary to me at that age of 3 or 4, and all the movie monsters that scare me right now are men. Jason, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and now, the faceless face. I grow used to its presence, and though it only shows its faceless face in my dreams, I feel it all the time. Hiding, lurking, waiting. For some reason, when I see the faceless face or feel it around, I get that sinking feeling at the bottom of my stomach, the kind also known as a bad feeling. Like something is going to go horribly wrong, but you don't know what, and your stomach feels as though it's going to sink all the way to the floor, and you're paranoid because you know something bad is going to happen. You don't know how you know, you just do. At night, it's become routine for me to stand in my doorway before bed and prep myself for the leap I have to make once I turn off that light switch. The light switch that for some reason is always on the opposite side of where your bed happens to be, so that you need to cross across your whole room before you can get to it in complete darkness. Okay, Jessica. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I make it to my bed in 3.5 leaps every time because no matter how hard I try, my little legs simply can't jump any further. Why the leaps? Because I need to get into bed as soon as possible because monsters can't hurt me if I'm hiding under the covers, right? The nightmares stopped becoming so frequent after a few years, and eventually I stopped thinking about the faceless face so much. At the age of 8, I find out that my grandparents are getting divorced and that my grandpa is moving to Mexico, which means I'll rarely see him. I cry and feel hurt and shocked, and then the familiar feeling of coldness overcomes me, and I lose my ability to speak, probably from all the emotions I'm feeling, I know, but still, my mind wanders back to that faceless face that I haven't seen in years, and I blame it. I blame it for everything that is happening because my 8-year-old mind thinks that it's finally done it. It's found out how to break into my reality after so long. I tell my mom that it's its fault, the faceless face. It's back. And it's going to get me. With the warmest touch that only a mother can have, she puts her hand on my tear-soaked cheek and she says, "It's okay, Jessica. He's not real. He can't get you. Breathe. It's going to be okay. Breathe. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay." I have to constantly keep reminding myself of this, but I can't, because even as I get older, I can feel that presence, those emotions that only the faceless face has ever made me feel so strongly. It's going to be okay. I'm 15 years old, and I'm obsessed with maintaining my weight. Because if I don't, I'll get made fun of again, and I'll be ugly, and boys won't like me, and the girls will make fun of me, and I'll have no friends. So whenever I feel like I've eaten too much, I'll just throw it up, and I'll cry, but I won't be able to talk to anyone about it, and I'll feel cold and lost and trapped. It's going to be okay. And it was okay after that. I was okay. For years, I thought I escaped the faceless face because I always reminded myself that it wasn't real. It couldn't really get me, and I'm okay. I just need to breathe. And I did. And I'm fine. Every so often I feel it, the coldness, the unstoppable tears and shortness of breath and the inability to speak. But I learned to fight the faceless face, and fight it I do. I fight and I kick and I tell it to go to hell, and I'm happy I've won. I tell myself I've won. But I haven't really, have I? Because you're always there, hiding, lurking, waiting, planning your next attack. You're there when I lose my virginity at the age of 16, when I'm feeling pressured and confused. You're there when I start smoking cigarettes more than just when I'm out drinking or at a party. You're there when I break up with my boyfriend of nearly 2 years because I am feeling so lost in the world and I think I'm doing the right thing by not dragging someone else into your world. And I feel like I have no control over my life because you do. You have control. You're there when I find out my grandma has cancer. If you had a hand, you'd be holding mine at that moment. You even traveled with me to London, where I've gone to for 4 months in an attempt to escape you. You're there when I find out that the cancer treatment has killed my grandma. That was your best attempt at me. At that moment, I feel your non-existent body gripping mine with so much force, it chokes the breath out of me, and all I see is the array of grays that make up the paint on the wall I'm looking at through tear-filled eyes, and I can smell the slight raspberry scent of the candle I'm burning and hear the fast-paced music that's playing softly from my computer. You're there with me at my grandma's funeral. Non-existent hand on my shoulder as I hug and kiss all the people who are sorry for my loss. You're there when I come back from London, when I can no longer hide among the beautiful architecture and magical accents. You're there when I'm finally ready to come face to face with your faceless face. I know you are very real. You have a faceless face because you wear many masks, and I know you can hurt me, and you are no longer just something that lives in my dreams. You have grown into an entity that follows me always, and perhaps you always will. But you haven't won. Oh no, I'm not giving up. I'm learning how to speak my mind, even though I know you hate it so much, and I'm becoming braver because I'm no longer trying to avoid or run from you, even though I hear you knocking and I feel you trying to reach me, trying to touch me with your cold, non-existent hands, wearing one of your many masks, I am learning not to fall so easily into your traps. And tonight, when I go to sleep, I will turn off my light and walk slowly to my bed that's across the room, and pull my mint green comforter around me and snuggle with my hot pink body pillow, and I will say a prayer and whisper goodnight to my grandmother, and I will breathe. Just breathe. Because everything is going to be okay.